No, I'm not James Bond, but this is an Aston Martin. More specifically, it's a 2008 Aston Martin V8 Vantage, and though it's not the DBS that James Bond drives in Casino Royale, it is still a fantastic V8 powered machine that I can't wait to talk to you guys about today. Frankly, this is a truly special car, and I personally like this a heck of a lot more than I do the DBS, mainly because it's just a tiny bit more compact, a tiny bit more agile, and in my opinion, so much more fun to drive. Today, I'm going to break down exactly what makes this car so fantastically special, what makes it so Bond-worthy, and why you should consider coming down to RPM Garage to check it out today. When it comes to a car as nice looking as this, I had to start with the exterior before I dove under the hood or went into the interior. Frankly, this car looks absolutely incredible, and that's actually what I wanted to start with, was this iconic styling. Now, when most people think of Aston Martin, this is almost exactly what comes to mind, and there's a reason for that, because this specific model was one of their best-selling models in history, and it ran from 2005 until 2017 with a couple small facelifts and changes, which made it such a great seller and why it's so recognizable to most people. An interesting fact about this specific year model, though, the 2008 year model, is that it actually has a slightly longer wheelbase than both its predecessor and its successor. So let's break that down a little bit. From 2005, when this car entered production, until 2007, this car had a 102.4-inch wheelbase. In 2008, though, they switched that to a 102.5-inch wheelbase, and though I don't know exactly why they might have done so, it didn't really change the look of the car all that much, and it still looks fantastic. Another quirk, though, is they only carried that 102.5-inch wheelbase until the 2010 year model, and in 2011 they switched back to the 102.4-inch wheelbase. Again, not entirely sure why, but it still looks, performs, and does everything fantastically, so I don't really have any complaints, but it is an interesting quirk that really seems specific to Aston Martin. To go along with this iconic styling and the unusual wheelbase changes, Aston Martin has put a 4.3-liter V8 engine that's naturally aspirated under the hood of this fantastic machine. Now, this engine puts out 380 horsepower and 302 pound-feet of torque, which is impressive by itself, but it's really fun to drive because of the fact that it's a rear-wheel drive platform. Better yet, though, this specific one is offered in a 6-speed manual, and that's what I have today, which makes it 50 times more fun, and it feels way more authentic to drive than maybe a normal sports car might. Additionally, despite its small size relative to most cars, it's actually quite spacious inside. In the back, this is a very much quintessential Grand Tour, and it definitely feels like that when you're driving it. As you'd expect with most Grand Tours, the suspension is surprisingly comfortable, but it can handle tight cornering and really hard turns very well. Frankly, I love driving this car, and there's not a single complaint that I have about it. This brings me to the back of the car. Like I said just a moment ago, there's actually a surprising amount of space back here, and there's actually plenty of room in the boot here for golf clubs, potentially, luggage if you need that, or in my case, a lot of camera equipment. Now, most supercars and most sports cars aren't really useful as grocery getters, but this car could be more than capable of doing so. Or if you choose to use it for its intended purpose and Grand Tour in it, this would be more than capable of satisfying all your needs. I also wanted to look a little bit more at the back end of things because, like I mentioned before, this car has iconic styling and there's really no reason not to look at it. Notice these fantastic exhaust pipes. These chrome dual exit exhausts will produce a fantastic note from that 4.3 V8 that I mentioned earlier, and I will be starting this one up for you. It sounds phenomenal, and I really want you guys to hear it. Another thing you'll notice are these taillights. Now, these taillights are perhaps the most iconic British taillights of all time. Every Aston Martin in Aston Martin's lineup at some point has had these taillights, at least between 2005 and 2018. And frankly, they look incredible. If I had to choose a favorite set of taillights, these would 100% be them. And I'm going to be honest with you, I have completely fallen in love with this car just while doing the review for it. Now, for 2007, this car is extremely Bond-esque. If you look in here, this car has fantastically minimal interior, and I'm personally a very huge fan of that. Additionally, though, this thing has a pop-up infotainment display with a bunch of different features that seems very worthy of James Bond himself, and the interior is just so nice to be in, especially with these leather trimmings, these fantastic leather bucket seats, and this suede headliner. And like I said before, this is a 6-speed manual, so it's extremely fun to drive and it feels very comfortable and right, which isn't something you get with most sports cars or supercars. Frankly, I love being in here, and I know I've already said that I've fallen in love with this car, but just sitting in it now makes me love it that much more, and I can't recommend enough coming and taking a look at this one. Another cool thing about this car are the doors, and this isn't something I really intended to include in the video in the first place, but I just happened to open these up and they look so cool, especially with the angle. It's really kind of one of the first attempts at butterfly doors that you might think of today with McLaren or the BMW i8, and just the slight angle to them makes it very, very appealing to look at. One of the other reasons I love this car though is because of its attainability. This car had an initial MSRP of over $130,000, but today, right now, it's for sale for only $34,991. That means it's depreciated almost $100,000, and yet you still get a fantastic 4.3-liter V8 in a tuned sports car slash supercar slash grand tourer. This car offers just about everything, and that is why, from my heart of hearts, I truly love it so much. Normally, I don't include videos of me driving a car, and today won't be any different, but just know that when I'm driving this, I will be smiling like a lunatic for every single second of it. I'd like to thank all of you for watching today, and I really hope you'll take the time to subscribe to the channel, maybe even like it, share the video, and hopefully you'll all come down to RPM Garage to check it all out. I'll also include the link to our Instagram and our TikTok below, and I hope you'll check those out as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.